Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya, aka TitaniumBuilt, and I'm so glad to have you here for the first time or as a returning subscriber. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Here on my channel, we go over loss caused by accident, trauma, or injury. The loss of a loved one, we really hit that one hard. And I'm starting to throw in some more lighthearted content as well, because I want to lighten it up a little bit and have a little bit of fun in our group. Topics that we do go over right now are prosthetic eye, loss of a body part or organ, loss of a loved one, house fires, car accidents, contests/giveaways, reviews, and we do much, much more here on the channel. I really love helping other people. It's a hard world to navigate right now, and if you throw in an injury or an accident or loss, it just really gets even harder to navigate. And I'm here to be that resource for you guys and to try to help you navigate this world that we're in. So I do post an instant premiere every Tuesday at 2 p.m. and I come on for a live chat. And I do come back on live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the same day on Tuesdays to do a live Q&A for you guys. I also do like short videos or videos in between whenever I have a really good question that I could put into like a whole video. So watch out for those as well. If you're on your cell phone using YouTube, make sure that you have your settings clicked onto the notifications icon on, so that you're alerted to any new content that's on any of them YouTube from your content creators that you do love. So if you love this channel though, and you are a returning subscriber, or you just want to help donate and help build my small channel and you want to help it grow, we are taking donations through PayPal and Cash App. And our Cash App and our PayPal name is TitaniumBuilt, all one word. And our TikTok is also at TitaniumBuilt. So if you'd like to watch me on TikTok, you can go ahead and join me over there. I'll be putting a lot more content about my this stuff on there shortly. So I do have a few videos on there right now, probably like 20, so you could go over, just look at them if you'd like to. We also have giveaways at every new milestone, so check out my new About Me section whenever you're done with this video, because we are going to throw in some giveaways and some contests there. You can email me any questions at titaniumbuiltboo@gmail.com over any of the topics that we go over, and I will make sure that I answer each question accordingly. If I can't get to your questions through the email, I will come on the Tuesdays and I will answer it live on the Q&A. So please be kind in the comments. We're all going through a lot here. So with all that said, let's just get to the video that we are here to watch today. I am making this video actually Tuesday, the day that it comes out, because I was on vacation last week, so I'm not going to be able to edit in the photos that I wanted to edit in this week, but I do have a few that are printed out, so I'm just going to hold those ones up. I am going to start editing in photos into the videos, that way you're not always staring at me. If you're wondering where my backlights went, they decided to get tangled in a knot. I used to have these pretty little leafy ones, and we're not going to use those for now. So I know I'm going to get a question probably about it. So that's why I'm with a little bit of a plainer background today, but I do have my little candle going and my little fall decorations here. So without further ado, let's get into that video. In this video, we are going to go over how I broke my mandible, which is your jawbone, in multiple places, causing me to have metal plates put in, having my mouth wired shut for 8 weeks, and all the ins and outs of everything that has to do with having your mouth wired shut. So you all know that my car accident is what caused my injury, so I'm not going to go back over the story of my car accident, but if you'd like to know and you haven't heard it yet, it is linked in one of the videos down below, and it's in the main video on my feed. So side note also onto that, Kanye Yeezy West had his mouth wired shut after breaking his mandible jaw, and raps about it in a song Through the Wire, where he talks about how he saw his jaw in the back of his mouth. My problem with that one is, how bad of shape are you in to be able to, you can't be in that bad of shape, because his car accident was supposed to be terrible, right? Where he almost died. But he could stand and look in a mirror, and the hospital let him stand. Yet he's had all this trauma. So I don't know, surely they wouldn't give you a mirror and then we're not going to put you in front of them, like in front of one themselves. I mean, they wouldn't traumatize you more as a hospital. They're not going to do that. So I'm not sure, but could you drop in the comments what you think that's about? Because I'm calling BS on that. I've known this song for, you know, years and years, and I never thought about that until I started writing out my notes for this video. And I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. So let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments below, please. You know, and if you don't know who Kanye Yeezy, whatever his name is today, West is, he's just a rap artist from the United States. So let me know what you think. But anyway, after my car accident, I was unaware of all my injuries until I woke up over the following few days. At first, it was little things they would tell me, not so little really. I mean, as it was loss of my eye, my legs were crushed, and I had broken ribs, among many other injuries. About 3 days into, after being told not to really talk, they put me in a neck brace to prevent me from talking. The same day, they did that. So this would have been about 3 or 4 days after my car accident. The nurses came in and asked me to do a couple breathing techniques. The breathing techniques were like coughing, things like that. I tried my hardest, but it was really hurting to even attempt it. So I asked the nurse if I could just try again later. She asked me if I could just try one more time. And my mom was there, and she gave me like the head mom, you know, the nod, like, just try one more, sweetie. So I coughed one more time, which was like, it was so small. I coughed one more time, as much as I didn't want to. After a few minutes, my mom left the room. She drove home, you know, back down because she was going to take a shower, things like that. She had been at the hospital for 38 straight hours, you know, so she wanted to go home, take a shower, do things like that. She didn't even leave the hospital parking lot before the nurses had called her and told her that I had punctured a lung and that my lung had collapsed and I needed a chest tube. Right after this, we went into surgery to wire my mouth shut and to put in the chest tube that's what would help me breathe and to pump my lung back up, which was my left lung that I collapsed. I had also broken 3 ribs on that same side, so I was in a lot of pain from all of that, but I'll go over that in another video. Now back to how I broke my mandible. I have one plate in my jaw that is titanium, and it has 4 screws that hold my jaw into place where the break was. I also have had braces, and they were metal titanium braces with wiring, and that was to hold my mouth wired shut. It was supposed to be for 6 weeks. So that was not something that I was looking forward to at all. I am going to hold up a picture of what my jaw looks like now through an x-ray. I wanted to clip these into the video today because I'm really wanting to edit them more, but I didn't have time. But I wanted to at least show you. You can see most of them. There's going to be 4 altogether, but there's the 2, and you can see them right there on the screen. And those are, it's a plate, and then it has 4 screws with bolts in that. So I just wanted to put that in there so that you guys had a little idea of what it looks like. When I first had my wires put on, it took me about 3 whole seconds, literally 3 whole seconds, to learn how to communicate and to talk. So I'm going to do a little test right here. If you can understand this, put a 1 in the comments below. If you can understand me right now and you did not understand what I said a second ago, put a 3 in the comments below. So now that I'll be really looking forward to reading those comments. You know, because it literally took me like 30 seconds to learn how to talk because I love to talk. I was supposed to have the wires and braces on my teeth for a period of 6 weeks, in which then they would cut the wires off. After cutting the wires, you still wear the braces on your teeth for a period of a couple weeks after, and then they give you the little rubber bands that hook on, kind of like when you have orthodontic braces. That way that you can start working your jaw to be able to eat harder, more solid foods. You can take the rubber bands off in order to eat food and all of that, but you cannot keep your mouth open for long periods of time. It's extremely, extremely difficult. Just becomes extremely difficult when you go to the dentist. And some dentists are not prone to seeing people that have this type of surgery done, or have this sort of problem at the dentist. So they can be kind of rough with you. Just let them know ahead of time, hey, I have broke my jaw or crushed it or however it happened, and I need help keeping my mouth open for long periods of time. They have wedges they can use to put in there that you can rest your mouth on, which is awesome. When they put those in, a lot of times I would notice myself, I would still tense up, but you just gotta let yourself relax totally, and it will help with the pain in your jaw when it comes to the dentist. I promise you it will. During my period of, having my mouth wired shut, this is probably the most difficult thing I ever went through all of this. I was already without an eye, having all new injuries, learning how to walk, talk, write, communicate, all that stuff, and then they put this on me, you can't even eat what you want. Sorry, you cannot eat what you want to eat. So, soup for you. The first day they brought me up food to eat, which consisted of chicken broth and beef broth. I really wanted to find the picture for you guys because I did take a picture of it when I was in the hospital. It was 2 cups sitting on my hospital bed tray, and it said beef on one and chicken on the other with straws coming out of it. Needless to say, I didn't eat any of that. I just didn't eat that. I am a very picky eater, and I knew that I wasn't going to eat the pureed food that the hospital gives you, because if you've ever seen it, it literally looks like tiny little sponges that it's been pressed together, maybe by I don't know, the sausages look like it was one of those 3 crimped things for women's hair, where you crimp. It was bad. So I knew I wasn't going to eat that because literally I live off of chicken nuggets, french fries, and hamburgers. I'm like a 3-year-old kid when it comes to food. So I had to come up with a solution really quick, really fast. And I'm the woman that is good for solutions. I can do a solution, right? So this is what my diet consisted of while my mouth was wired shut, because I knew this bad boy was going to be wired shut for at least 6 weeks, right? So breakfast time consisted of either a Boost or Ensure drink, which is a way for me to get some calories and vitamins in other way other than what the hospital was giving me orally when they would crush some pills up in my orange juice and give me vitamins that way. So breakfast, or I would do yogurt, I could do chocolate milk, something like that. Lunch, this is where it's starting to get messy. Okay, so for lunch, I would have either SpaghettiOs, if you ever ate SpaghettiOs, or beefaroni or ravioli, things like that as a kid. They're going to come in handy if you liked them. If you liked it, this is going to be really good. And use a lot of salt and pepper on everything that you eat. But basically what they did at the hospital for me is they pureed that down. So we would just put, not all together, but I would eat SpaghettiOs. We would puree that down to almost like a soup. And then it literally tastes the same as it did when it was in thicker chunks, because it's already kind of soupy anyway. And so I would eat that because I'm not a big soup person. I'm not a huge soup fan at all. So that was a way for me to get and kind of some meat, in there. It literally tastes the same. And then I would just have a drink, water or a soda to have with that, for lunch. For my snacks, I would do a smoothie, usually chocolate peanut butter, because one of the nurses, when I was in the hospital, she would come up and she would make those for me, even if she wasn't working on my floor that day, just so that I would have something good, and calorie rich, something good in my belly. For dinner, it would be basically lunch, and sometimes I would do mashed potatoes instead with gravy, especially the ones from KFC. I would have my friends, my friends would come up, or they lived close by, or they worked close by where I was at. They would come up and they would bring me the big, large containers of it, and then I would just heat it up in the microwave that I had in my room. I love them for that. I mean, it helped just get something in my belly that was warm and good, because when your mouth's wired shut, it's hard to eat. It really is. You're in pain, you're miserable. So if you can find the little joys, stick with them, So I would do that for dinner, and then, you know, I would also do, you know, the beefaroni or something like that if I needed something else. I had access to a refrigerator. It was right beside my bed, so I had access to that, so I could, you know, make food throughout the day. It was no problem at all for me to make some food, and I always made sure that I made tons of food because I knew that I wasn't getting a lot of calories from the small meals that I was eating. Also, I would eat things like ice cream, yogurt, things like that for snacks in between as well, always keeping my refrigerator stocked. At the 6-week mark, which would have been, the date would have been March 5th, 2014, the nurse came in, and I was so excited thinking that I was about to go into surgery, you know, to get the wires taken off of my teeth and start to get that put behind me. It wasn't going to happen. The surgeon decided that since my injuries were so severe that he wanted to keep the metal braces wired shut, like the metal, the braces and then the wiring on them for another 2 weeks. So right then and there, I almost broke down and lost my shit. I'm not gonna lie. It was the first time I almost cried during the whole experience. Let's just put it that way. If you know, you know. Like if you've had your jaw broken and you've had your mouth wired shut, and you know. I was dreaming of all the food that I could eat. Like literally dreaming of it. So 2 weeks later, I finally went back and I had the wires. They cut the wires off and they removed them. Still a disappointment because I still thought I was getting all them off, but it was a start. I began eating with the rubber bands and I had to work my jaw strength back. So it took a little while to do all of that. They put the rubber bands on and you just like literally cling them on just like if it was an orthodontic brace. I would say I am about 60% of the person I was before breaking my jaw. Like, you know, my jaw is about 60%, not the actual person, but my jaw is about 60%. I can't keep my mouth open for long periods of time without pain. My jaw hurts when it's about to rain outside, which it's been raining off and on the last 2 days since we've been home. And now my teeth are also causing me problems from the wires being surgically dug into my teeth, like underneath of them, where now I have like parts of my mouth have nerve damage and I cannot feel that area. So sometimes I feel like I may be brushing too much or flossing too hard in those areas. It's just bad sometimes. But, you know, in good with the bad. My first meal after my mouth was wired, you know, the wiring came off, was crab legs, and a lot of them, I swear, I had like so many, like probably 3 pounds of crab legs. I had to eat, because you have to eat soft foods, you know, so that was a perfect meal to start with because you do have to work your way back to those bigger meals. You can't just come out of having your mouth wired shut and say, okay, time to go eat a rock, or, you know what I mean, guys. But you can't like go and do all that. You have to really do the steps that the surgeons tell you to do. So it took a long while for that to actually really come into effect and help, you know, and my strength came back. Also, swallowing was very difficult for me sometimes when after my mouth was wired shut, when they took the wiring off. A few times I couldn't swallow. It was very scary, very panicky, but it was only a couple times and it's since faded. So that was years ago, thank God. I do want to tell you though, I want to give you some of them tips, some more tips at the end of the video here. So, you know, you saw the ones above and here are a few more tips that you can have from me when your mouth is wired shut. Okay, so they don't tell you these things. Always have water with you. Water, not anything else, not soda, not Powerade, not Gatorade, nothing that's going to really make you thirstier, just water. You are going to have the worst dry mouth you have ever experienced in your life. Ever. Because you're not producing saliva, you're not moving your tongue around enough, you're not doing those actions, you're not moving, you're not talking, those things. So you're not going to have saliva buildup. So it's not going to build up. Chapstick is the next one. Your lips are going to be like the 𝒂𝒔𝒉𝒂𝒑𝒑 𝑨𝒍𝒍. Okay, they are going to be dry as dry can be, like because you can't lick them to produce the saliva on your lips since your mouth's wired shut. So basically, chapstick is the way to go. I have a favorite brand that I use. It's called 𝒑𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒑𝒏, but I don't know if I would use that kind of brand. Maybe because it does have like the exfoliating in it, so it might help. but you might just want some like plain chapstick for just this, but whatever the strongest that you can get, because your lips are going to be extremely chapped. You are going to want an electronic toothbrush. You're going to want to be able to get in the crevices of all of the wiring and stuff like that when you're brushing your teeth, because you're going to be digging out food. You're just going to. Me personally, I didn't like other people around me when I ate, so if that's the thing that you don't like now when people are watching you eat, just imagine having your mouth wired shut. You might just want to eat alone, because I don't care if you eat in front of everybody, but I'm just saying it was a thing for me. I just felt self-conscious about it. So if you do, who cares? Just say, I want to eat alone. Not a big deal. Last thing is wax. The wax for the wiring for the braces, it's going to rub on your gums on the inside, and that's very sensitive in your mouth. It's going to tear them open like they are razor blades in there. The best thing that you can use is orthodontic wax. So you just put a little bit of the orthodontic wax on the tip of the wire or the brace, and it'll help with that rubbing and all of that good stuff. So those are a few of simple tips and tricks that I could give you. And that's my story on how I broke my mandible. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them below. I will get right to them. And if you have any request for a video, please reach out to TitaniumBuiltBoo@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel after watching it this long, I would love for you to subscribe. I'm really trying to hit that 200 mark with my subscriber count. We're such a small channel, and I'm just really hoping to grow. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. And also, I am sorry that this one came out a little late today, because it is 2:05 and I'm going to post it ASAP. Much love, and I will see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard.